All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving headfirst into one of the biggest, oldest questions in all of philosophy. And we're going to do it by cracking open Plato's Republic. The big question, the one that drives the whole thing, is what exactly is justice?
So, you might think a big philosophy book would start in a dusty library, right? Nope. This one starts on a road in ancient Athens with a challenge. It's basically a friendly threat, but it's brilliant because it immediately throws this huge question at us. Is justice really just about who has the power? Is it just might makes right?
So the scene is this. The philosopher Socrates is trying to get home after a festival, but his buddies, they literally block his way and kind of playfully force him to hang out and go to a party with them. And it's right there, in this super casual, unexpected place that one of the most famous and important conversations in all of Western thought is about to get started. Okay, so they get to the party. It's at the house of this rich, respected old guy named Cephalus. Socrates, being Socrates, starts asking questions. He asks Cephalus, "Hey, what's it like being old?" And Cephalus says, it's actually pretty great. He feels at peace. He thinks his money has been a huge help because it meant he never had to lie or cheat anyone to get by. And right there, that idea, that's our very first attempt at figuring out what justice is. So Cephalus lays it out, simple as that. For him, justice is just speaking the truth and paying back whatever you owe. I mean, it sounds pretty good, right? It's a solid, respectable, common sense answer. But, and this is a big but, Socrates is about to poke some serious holes in that common sense. And Socrates doesn't waste any time. He immediately hits him with a thought experiment. He goes, okay, let's say a friend gives you a weapon for safekeeping. Later, that friend goes completely insane and comes back demanding his weapon. Now, according to your rule, pay back what you owe, you should give it to him. But is that really the just thing to do?
Yeah, obviously not. I mean, no way. Giving a weapon to someone who's lost their mind would be a total disaster. So boom, just like that, the first definition falls apart. And this is kind of funny. Cephalus pretty much says, well, I've got to go make a sacrifice, and just pieces out, leaving his son, Polemarchus, to take over the debate.
All right, so now we get to Polemarchus. He jumps right in, eager to defend the family honor, you could say. He's not just going to repeat what his dad said, though. He's got a slightly different take, a more refined version, that he actually borrows from a poet to make it sound more legit.
His idea is this. Justice is all about giving each person what they deserve. And what does that mean? Well, doing good things for your friends and doing bad things to your enemies. This is a really old school, almost warrior code way of thinking, right? You help your people and you hurt the other guys.
But of course, Socrates starts chipping away at this, piece by piece. First up, how do you even know who your real friends and enemies are? We mess that up all the time, right? You might end up helping someone you thought was a friend who's actually an enemy. But then he goes even deeper, and this is the real killer point. He asks, can a just person, by doing a just act, make another person worse? Harming someone makes them worse. So how can a just person use justice to create injustice in someone else? It's a total contradiction.
So, just as they're kind of reaching this dead end, this logical puzzle, the whole vibe of the conversation is about to get completely blown up.
See, there's this other guy there, Thrasymachus, and he's been listening this whole time, just getting angrier and angrier. Plato's description is amazing. He says the guy was coiled up like a wild beast, ready to pounce. And finally, he just explodes into the conversation, basically shouting at them to stop talking nonsense.
Thrasymachus is done. He's had it with all this polite, abstract talk. He sees it as a silly game. He's about to drop a truth bomb and tell them how things actually work in the real world, not in some philosopher's fantasy. And his definition? It's simple. It's cynical. It's brutal. Justice, he says, is nothing, and I mean nothing, other than the advantage of the stronger. That's it. It's just a fancy word the people in charge use to make their own selfish rules sound noble. Plain and simple. Might makes right.
And his logic is pretty hard to argue with at first glance. He says, look, in any country, who makes the laws? The people in power. And why do they make those laws? For themselves, to help themselves. And then they turn around and tell everyone else that justice means you have to obey these self-serving laws. If you don't, you get punished.
I mean, that is a powerful argument. It's super cynical, and you hear versions of it all the time, even today. But Socrates, he doesn't get rattled. He doesn't get mad. He just stays calm and gets ready to dismantle this whole idea. And he starts with one brilliantly simple question.
He just looks at Thrasymachus and asks, so, can rulers make mistakes? Can they, pass a law that they think is in their own best interest, but it actually ends up being bad for them? And Thrasymachus has to admit it. Yeah, of course. Rulers are human. They can definitely mess up.
And right there, that's the trap. Socrates just sprang it. Think about it. If justice is obeying the ruler, like Thrasymachus said, and the ruler makes a mistake by passing a law that's bad for him, then, to be just, the subjects have to obey a law that hurts the powerful. His own definition falls apart. It means justice is sometimes the disadvantage of the stronger. It completely contradicts itself.
Okay, so Thrasymachus tries to swim his way out of this one. He backpedals a bit and says, whoa, wait. A true ruler, a ruler in the most precise sense of the word, doesn't make mistakes. He says a ruler is like a perfect craftsman, a doctor, or a mathematician, who, when they are really practicing their craft, is infallible.
And that is the exact opening Socrates was waiting for. He's like, a craftsman? Perfect, let's run with that. He takes Thrasymachus' own analogy, this idea of a perfect ruler-craftsman, and uses it to turn the entire argument completely on its head.
So Socrates starts with an easy one, a doctor. He asks, whose advantage does the craft of medicine serve? The doctor's or the patient's? Well, that's a no-brainer. The entire point of medicine is to help the patient, right? The weaker person in that relationship. Then he uses another example, a ship's captain. Is the captain's skill for his own benefit? Nope. It's for the benefit of the sailors on the ship, the people under his command. He's there to serve them and keep them safe. So you see where this is going, right? The logical conclusion is inescapable. If ruling is a craft, just like medicine or sailing, then a true ruler doesn't look out for his own interests. The whole point of his craft is to look out for the advantage of his subjects, the people he rules over. And just like that, the whole might makes right argument gets completely flipped upside down. It's beautiful, really. Using Thrasymachus' own logic, Socrates proves that the job of a true ruler isn't to take advantage of people, but to serve them. So let's recap. In the span of just one conversation, they've shot down 3 different definitions of justice. We figured out what justice isn't. It's not just telling the truth, it's not just helping friends, and it's not just the will of the powerful. But we still have no clue what it is. And that's exactly where Plato leaves us, setting the stage for the rest of the entire book and leaving us with this massive hanging question. If justice isn't any of those things, then what on earth is it?